Hello, welcome to Spotlight on Souris. Today is October 26, 2022, getting close to Remembrance Day. So my name is Laura Higgs and we're here to talk to Mark Gillis, who's the president of the Legion here in Souris. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
I'm glad to be here.
Now, the Legion is called Legion Branch number 60, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's what it is, and that's on, you can look that on Facebook as well, right?
I'm
That's
sure
what it's
you
called
can,
that way.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me more about the Legion. How do you run the Legion? Like, what goes
Okay.
on there?
Okay, so the Legion is run by a board, and the board is elected by the members. Board members currently are Lee Johnson, Myrna Long, Terry Van de Kerkhoff, Perry Van de Kerkhoff, Darren Yonts, Robert Edgerton, Don Smith, Felix Belanger, Conrad May, and myself, Mark Gillis. So these people are the people behind the scenes that keep our Legion doors open, keep it operating. They volunteer a lot of time there, and it would not work without them.
Right, yeah, for sure. Now, they're not the paid staff, they are the volunteers that keep
100%.
that running. Now, then you do have paid staff besides
Yes,
that, right?
of course,
Yeah.
we couldn't operate without them
As
also.
well,
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
So tell me, how many members do we have?
So right
that
now we have
belong to
about 350 members, maybe a few more. So
Yeah.
we're always looking for more members. So after this fabulous interview, I'm sure the phone will be ringing off the hook and
That's
people
right.
will be wanting to buy their membership
along.
and join. Yeah,
For sure.
So
And I know there's the ladies auxiliary group, and some of those ladies have a membership with the Legion and with the ladies auxiliary, but there's a few ladies who just have their membership with the auxiliary. So there's
Right.
probably another, 15 or 20
Right.
people added to that list as
Right.
well, right?
I'll
Okay.
throw a little promo in there too, because I actually got this myself in the mail
Okay.
just recently. So support your Legion today. Renew and prepay your membership for 5 years, and they'll send you a beautiful toque and scarf and mitts as a gift. So
Will they?
Yeah,
Oh,
apparently.
great.
So yeah, if you're interested, please check in at the Legion.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Okay. So what kinds of things does the Legion do in our community?
So the Legion, it promotes well-being for veterans is really its main goal, and also being a good community member. So we get requests for donations from different community groups. And those community groups, if they can tie their services to veterans particularly, then the Legion, I can't say you'll always get a grant, but certainly will be interested in reviewing your grant request and often do make donations. And I guess the best example probably is the hospital. I know over the years, the Legion has contributed to equipment and so on.
Absolutely.
Or certain renovations, that type of thing, because of course the hospital serves our veterans. Yeah.
Absolutely. And more times than enough, near the end of their time, they do spend time in our hospitals and nursing homes for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand that you've been gathering some facts about the Canadian Armed Forces, especially in preparing for this, because you've been the president for how long at the Legion?
That's a good question. Not
So-
terribly long. It's less than 2 years,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, so you're actually learning things being in
Oh,
the
yeah,
position you're in, right?
yeah.
Okay, so what can you tell our viewers about the service of Canadians?
Right, so as you point out, I have done a little research, and any of this could be checked on the internet. I think it's pretty accurate. So just some facts. From 1914 to 1918, during World War I, 650,000 Canadians served. Of those, 172,000 people were wounded, 66,000 lost their lives.
Wow.
From 39 to 45, World War II, 1.1 million Canadians served. Of those, 55,000 were wounded, 45,000 were killed. 50,000 women enlisted in the Canadian Women Army Corps, which began in 1941, which was then integrated into the Canadian Armed Forces in 1942. About half of them actually served in the Canadian Army, and of course, to this day, women are an important part of our armed forces. 4,000 First Nations people served during World War I. 3,000 First Nations people also served during World War II, and they know that the number of First Nations people who served is much higher than that. This is the documented ones, and not all were documented, right?
Sure.
So numbers are not 100% accurate. Since World War II, Canadians have served in multinational coalitions, including the Korean War from 1950 to 53, Gulf War and the Kosovo War, 1990 to 1991, Afghanistan 01 to 2014, and of course Canadians have served around the world in many peacekeeping missions. 125,000 is the estimate, which is about 10% of all UN peacekeeping forces. So these numbers are, I think, pretty incredible for this country. This country, dating back to 1914, was not a huge country at the time. Certainly still is not a huge country on the world stage population-wise.
Correct.
Yet our veterans' contributions to these conflicts were pretty huge, right?
Mhm.
And just a little piece I found that I thought was pretty interesting to demonstrate how Canada and the people that served stepped up. During the Second World War, the Royal Canadian Navy began with 13 vessels and 3,500 men. By the end of that war, 6 years later, there were 373 ships and 110,000 serving in the Royal Navy. So,
Wow.
I mean, that just demonstrates the commitment of Canadians to protect our freedoms and protect our allies' freedoms, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
For sure. Wow.
yeah,
That's lots of great information.
right.
So we have some things, well, it's November 11th is coming up. So what does Remembrance Day mean to the Legion?
So to the Legion, again, it's to honor our veterans, the people who have served and currently serve. I mean, people have lost their lives, people have been wounded, people have been away from families. People make a huge sacrifice and commitment, again, to protect our freedoms and our way of life. And these veterans are honored on November 11th.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
what does it take to plan an event on November 11th?
So our planning, we have a committee who puts together the service. They go out and put together a nice little program that you'll receive on November 11th if you're at the service. And in addition to that, they reach out to other important contributors to the service and get everything arranged and put it all together.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. And obviously they do a march into that as well, right?
yeah, they'll be participating in the service, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. So where is it going to be held?
So as it is always held, it's always held here at the Community Hall in Souris. But what is different this year, normally the service takes place in the hall, then we march uptown and in front of the Legion and lay wreaths. And then we have lunch and refreshments and fellowship in the Legion. This year, we're gonna actually hold the service and lunch here at the Community Hall. For any of you that have attended over the past number of years,
Right.
you'll know that on November 11th, it can be pretty cold standing out on that
Yes,
street.
yep.
For veterans, for sure, they're not getting any younger, it doesn't get any easier.
Right.
So we thought this was a good opportunity to try something different, and we're gonna try it all in the Community Hall.
So the laying of the wreaths as well,
Laying of the wreaths as well.
sort of in the same order of service that we had, just that we
Correct.
would change the place we're doing
Yeah,
it.
it'll
Okay.
be all inside rather than outside.
Mhm.
And then following the lunch, again, there'll be an opportunity for refreshments and fellowship at the Legion itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So when will the townwide canvass be held then?
So the townwide canvass is going to take place on November 1st. We'll have people out knocking on doors, offering community members a poppy. There is actually no charge for the poppy. We do bring a donation
Box,
basket
sure,
with us
yep.
and appreciate any donations we get. As I mentioned, these donations that we then in turn make to the community, such as the hospital, are supported by that. Yeah,
So then that'll be the Poppy Drive?
that's a poppy
But
drive.
then there's also Poppy stations that go out into the community. When does that happen?
Well, before I get to that,
Okay.
I just want to add, if you're interested in helping us canvass the community,
Ah.
we're always looking for volunteers for that role. And we would ask that you arrive at the Legion at 6:15. And when you arrive, they're going to give you a map with a section of town and ask you to go
Do
and
that
canvass that
section, okay.
area. And then following that, everybody's welcome to return again to the Legion for chili and a bun.
Oh, okay, very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Very good. A good way to honor your volunteers.
Right. And as for stations around town, they're going out, I believe it's October 28th, so you're going to see them in different community businesses, and so you can pick up your poppy there as well.
And the donation box will be in those
There'll
stations
also
as
be a
well.
donation box
Right.
there as well, you
Right.
bet. Yeah,
And then after you finish that, I do know that being a part of the Legion Auxiliary, that the ladies will be having a tea and bake sale in the afternoon at the Fellowship Hall that
Right.
same day.
Yes.
From 2 till 4. That's when that'll happen, so the folks can come out and enjoy tea and some camaraderie, as well as buy some baking that
Right
the
on.
ladies have prepared.
and the
So
baking's
at-
always fabulous.
Oh, yeah, it's always good, always
Yes,
good.
absolutely.
So, great.
Yeah.
So are there any other services being held in our community?
So beyond that, there will be a service out at the cemetery, and it's being held with Jonathan Filowich's class. They attend the service at the cemetery. The service is called No Stone Left Alone, and students are given poppies, and they place the poppies on the veterans' headstones. And yeah, there's a service out there. And following that, they also have an opportunity to return to the Legion for refreshments and activities. They also then run a poster contest where they produce posters in relation to Veterans and Remembrance Day, and they're submitted provincially, first in our district, then provincially, and kids are awarded bursaries and things like that based on that as well.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Wow. So, you again mentioned that the canvas is going to be on November 1st. Show
Right.
up at 6:15 at the
6:15
Legion.
if you're coming to help us canvass the community,
Mhm.
that'd be great. 6:15 at the Legion.
And then you're not given half a service to do, you're given a
No,
section,
absolutely
right?
not. Anytime I've ever done it, there's enough groups that they're able to split the town up into absolutely manageable
So,
sections.
yeah, a couple of friends can go together and do a section then.
betcha.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Here's hoping the weather holds out.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
that would be great.
'Cause
I've done it in cool weather too, so.
Yeah, I just drove home from Brandon, it was blustering out there. And then I turned on Highway 2 and there was sun shining
Sun's
over
starting to
Souris. So
shine,
we're
yeah.
lucky in
Yeah,
Souris. It just worked
exactly.
out very well.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to add to that, Mark?
I don't think so. I just thank you for the opportunity to be here and share a little bit about the Legion. I think the Legion is a gem in our community, and I think a lot of community doesn't know that or doesn't realize it, so this is a little way to get a little more exposure, and
Sure.
we would welcome you anytime. Even if you're not a member, please come and visit us.
Yeah, we'll get you in for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Well, thank you very much, Mark, for
All
coming
right,
out.
thanks again.
Thank you for joining us here at Spotlight in Souris. Have a great day.